I'm Jessica, standing in the middle of the now silent house on Christmas Eve, the weight of what just happened still sinking in. The door had just shut behind my so-called family as they scurried out with garbage bags, stripped of their dignity, money, and the house they once took for granted. It all started when I was sitting in my battered old car, right outside the iron gates of the mansion. I had just walked out of that house after dropping a bombshell. I was pregnant. My so-called family, with their fake smiles and expensive wine, couldn't handle the news. My father, Mr. Thompson, looked at me with cold eyes and simply said I was no longer part of the family and out of the will. Years of trying to be the perfect daughter, gone in an instant. I didn't break down. Instead, I reached for my laptop. 4 years ago, I created a shadow interface called the Phantom Log to manage the money that kept the Thompson estate afloat. My family, especially my father and my brother, Mark, thought they could sell my apartment to pay off Mark's gambling debts and still live their luxurious lives. I watched on the surveillance feed as my father opened the envelope I left on the table. He expected a check, but instead, he found his black credit card cut in half and a notice of default. With a single press of a button, I initiated the foreclosure. The estate went dark, the gates locked, and water flooded the patio where my mother, Mrs. Thompson, loved to host her fancy parties. Mark's Porsche was on its way to be repossessed, and my sister, Lily, had her corporate card suspended. But just as I was about to drive away, police cruisers blocked my path. Lily stepped out, pretending to be concerned. She told the officer I was having a psychotic break, that I cut the power and was going to drive off a cliff. The officer, seeing a pregnant woman in a beat-up car with a glowing laptop, thought I was a liability. My mother came out, clutching her chest and sobbing dramatically, begging me to come inside for the baby's sake. I realized then that they were trying to get me involuntarily committed so they could gain control of my assets. I refused to be pushed around. I told the officer I was the CFO of JT Holdings and that I was executing a foreclosure due to their default. Lily shrieked that I was delusional, but I pulled up an email on my phone where she had demanded money from me, threatening to expose my so-called episodes. The officer was starting to see through their lies. We went inside to prove ownership. I was about to expose all the shell companies and wire transfers when Mark lunged and smashed a crystal vase on my laptop, destroying my records. But I wasn't defeated. I reached into my bag and pulled out a stack of old greeting cards with promissory notes signed by them. The total debt was $1. $8 million plus interest. The officer understood that they were the trespassers, and they were given 10 minutes to leave. Now, as I stand here, I place a hand on my stomach. You start with zero debt, I whisper. I've finally broken free from the chains that bound me to this toxic family.